There is a sixth love language, and today I'm going to give you the secret of what it is. In case you don't know, what are love languages? So, hold on, I'm having a serious hot flash. I'm telling you, like menopause is real. Okay, back to it. If you don't know what love languages are, there are actually six love languages. Not five, but six. And today I'm going to tell you what the secret number six is. So if you're not familiar with what love languages are, the premise of it is that there are five, I'm going to tell you the sixth one today, but five love languages that we all speak. So they are words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So again, the premise of it is that we each have a love language that, when expressed to us, we feel loved. So, for me, for example, my love language is words of affirmation. So, when my husband says to me, like, wow, you're such a great mother, or you are such a hard worker, I feel loved. I feel great. Now, my husband's love language is I'll let you guess. Yes, physical touch. Um, and that doesn't have to be sex. It could also be just holding hands or cuddling or whatever. And I would say a very good percentage of men is definitely physical touch, but a lot of them have other ones too. And if you ever read the book, you'll understand, like, you can take a quiz and find out what your love language is. But the whole premise is that more than often, we express our own love language and expect that the person on the other side feels love. So if feel like my love language is actually words of affirmation, I might tell my husband, oh, honey, you're such a great dad. You work so hard. You're so funny. Whatever it is, by the way, has to be genuine, cannot be kind of BS, like, let me just fill you up with sugar that's actually not real or true. But anyway, I think that that is telling him how much I love him because that's how I feel love. But that's not the way it works. He doesn't feel loved by telling him how great he is. He feels love when I slap him on the butt or, you know, physical touch. I'll let you imagine what those things are. And so if I'm not expressing his love language, his love cup is empty. And if he's not expressing mine, I don't feel loved. So the goal is to speak each other's love language in their language, and then they feel loved. And when you constantly do that over and over and over again, you make it a daily habit, then you will both feel loved and your marriage or your relationship will feel that much better. Okay, so that's what the five love languages are if you've never had them explained to you. And they do matter because, again, you're going to sit there spinning your wheels thinking, well, man, my love language is gifts. I love receiving gifts. So you're at the store and you see something that you think he would like and you buy it and you're like, why isn't he grateful? Why doesn't he love my gift that I gave to him? And and he's like, I don't care. Like, I really just want quality time with you. So that's why it matters in terms of, knowing each other's love language. But here's the thing. There is a sixth love language. Want to know what it is? It is the language of sports, especially when it comes to men. And I know before you're like rolling your eyes at me and like saying, never mind, I'm out of here, hear me out. Because again, when you show interest in something that the person that you love loves, then they feel loved because you are taking an active interest in something that they are interested in. And a lot of people are very, very interested in sports. So, in particular, football. That's what we're about to get into, is the game of football. There are 90 million people that watch football every single weekend. Believe it or not, there's actually 45% of those are women, but they aren't always, like, I think only 10% of them are actually understand the game. They're just sort of around it. They're like with friends or family at bars, just having a good time, but they aren't actually engaging in the game. And then there's also a very significant proportion of women who feel like a football widow. And they just like, they kind of are filled with this resentment that they're just left out in the cold while their husband's watching 4, 5, 6 hours of football. And I'd love to say every Sunday, but now it's Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, especially if you also watch college, and then, of course, all day Sunday and Monday Night Football. So whether you like it or not, for 5 months out of the year, there is football on television 5 days out of the week. So wouldn't it make sense that if your partner has a love language that he is speaking 5 days out of the week, that you would take time to also learn that language? Just a thought. Now, I hear you. I already know what you're thinking. And you're thinking to yourself, well, Amanda, that is just way too complicated. I don't understand football. I look at it and it just looks like a whole bunch of men just running around, colliding into each other. And it really just doesn't make sense. Every play looks the same. And quite honestly, there's a lot of pauses that just kind of annoy me. So, okay, let's get into that because it is not that difficult to learn the game of football. It's not. It's actually fairly simple. So, here's the first thing that I would encourage you to do to learn the game of football. One, just understand the basic premise of the game. So, if you don't know what it is, here it is. The entire game is built on one thing. Get as many points as you can to beat the other team. And how do you do that? You score points. You score either touchdowns, field goals, or safeties, but we're not going to get into that. That's way too complicated. But those touchdowns and field goals are accomplished by doing one thing, getting a series of first downs. So, what is a first down? Every time a football team has the ball, they get 4 chances to move the ball 10 yards. And if they move the ball 10 yards in those 4 chances, they get a new set of chances. That's called a first down. And very quickly, what this looks like is it always starts with 1st and 10. And then if they run a play and they get 2 yards, now you have 2nd and 8. Now, after that, you're on your second try, right? You have 8 more yards to go. Let's just say you run another play. Maybe you suck and you get sacked or you lose yards. Oh, now you're back to 3rd and 11. Bummer. But you still have a third chance. And you can go that extra 11 yards by completing a play and boom, first down. Then you get another set of tries. Okay. So all you're doing is trying to gain yards, gain territory, play by play, first down by first down, till boom, like all of a sudden you're close enough to the end zone to score points, whether that's a touchdown or you kick the ball through the uprights and you get 3 yards. Man, this side's looking a little dark. I feel like I need to simmer down with the El Conturo. Okay, so that's the whole entire goal of the game. Score points, gain territory, win the game. Now, number 2, which, by the way, I do have a free resource. It's like a quick game day guide and a confidence building guide. So if you just click on the link below, you can go ahead and just grab it for free when you click on the link, and you'll see a lot more of this that I'm explaining. But number 2, you can also just feel the game. I know that sounds crazy, but here's the thing. The game of football is also built on momentum. And women in particular are really good at just feeling things. And you can feel when a team has momentum or when they don't. You know when to cheer, when not to cheer, and by the way, cheering doesn't mean something's happened. It could also, like, you're at a stadium and it's super loud, right? So it can also just be, come on, guys, let's go. Come on. Like, that is momentum. Or something good happens with your team and you just feel the excitement. So if you're watching the game with your guy, you can get excited about it. You can grab a drink for him, or you grab drinks together, you cheers, and you're all of a sudden like participating in the same shared experience. And that's what this is about. This is about having a shared experience with somebody that you love. That means so much, right? Because the entire goal of ever being in a relationship is to spend time that you both enjoy together. And if you're not doing that, then what's the point of being in a relationship? That's my opinion. Okay. So, number two, you already know it. You don't even need to be trained. You're a woman and we just know about feelings. So, number two, and I think this is one of the most important things. It is also okay to simply ask questions, because then your man knows that you're interested and he will be like, oh, you're asking me questions. So it doesn't have to be about the game itself because, mansplaining is real and sometimes it's hard to understand. And I always say that learning the game of football is difficult because we're just thrown into the middle of the game and you're like, wait, well, why did that happen? But you don't have like the basic construct of the game. So somebody might throw out like, well, that was because, that was a blitz, let's just say. And you're like, well, what's a blitz? And you kind of go down this rabbit hole of these really complex terms that don't make any sense to you because you don't have the basic language. I always like to liken it to if you were learning how to bake like cookies and you ask somebody like, hey, how do I bake cookies? And they immediately say to you, well, let me tell you first about the chemistry of yeast. Like, what? like, you, that's like learning a blitz before learning the game of football. Learning the chemistry of yeast is not going to teach you how to bake a cookie. You just want to know how to bake a cookie. So you need to know the recipe and how to bake before you get into the deep dive craziness of, what the complex terms of football are. But you can ask interesting questions. And those questions could be something like, okay, I mean, you probably know what team you're going for, but if it's not, because especially if he's watching for fantasy football, you can just say, who's the player to watch here? Like, what does it matter if this team wins or that team wins? Or who has the better defense? Or who's your favorite player? Or are there any guys that we're looking at, whether they're trying to break a record or they're a rookie and they're coming out, strong? Let's see how they performed. Can they, handle the pressures and the hype of playing in college or the NFL? And so anyway, you can just ask questions that are human interest. But trust me, again, guys love to talk about this stuff. It's their love language. I mean, this is the conversation that they're having with their guy friends. So they're not going to be annoyed by it because it is what they're already talking about. And they love to show you how smart they are and how much they know, right? Doesn't everybody like that? I feel like they do. So you're going to ask questions that are interesting and you're going to show him that you care. And here's the reason why. When you do that, when you are understanding the goal of the game, when you can feel the momentum, when you can feel the excitement, when you're sharing in the experience and you're high-fiving your guy for whatever reason, again, it might not even be his team. It could actually even be a game he's just watching that's interesting. And you can ask them, like, who are we cheering for? Is there a running back on your fantasy team? Is there, if you're in a certain league, like let's just say if you're watching, it doesn't matter if you're watching college or the NFL, and you usually want the team that's in your division to lose because that improves your chances of making the playoffs for your team. So you can ask them who you're cheering for and why. And now you guys are on the same team. You're having a good time. And there's nothing better than that, right? To have a good time. Okay, so let's review very quickly. What are you going to do on when it comes time for football and you want to deeply connect to the guy in your life who loves the game of football? Number one, understand the premise of the game. We just went over it. You've got that. Click on the link below and you'll learn a little bit more. Number two, ask questions. Find out what it is that he is watching and why you guys care, right? It could be might not even be your team because guys are watching all kinds of games and you're saying, okay, well, which team would be better for you if they win or lose? Or which players, they play fantasy, which player are we watching? Which guy do we want to have yards, touchdowns, quarterback, whatever, whoever's on his fantasy team? You want to know who that is so that you can support him, high five him, and just, again, it's that shared experience and he will feel loved because you care about him winning. And trust me, every guy wants to feel supported, loved, and respected. So when you show him those three things, trust me, he's going to love it. And again, just feel it. You're going to feel the momentum. You're going to have a good time and make it fun. Like, have a cocktail or a mocktail, whatever it is. Cook some great food and enjoy it together. Invite friends over if you want to. But the most important thing is just to know this. If his love language happens to be sports, football, participate in it. Don't just rely on resentment or going into the other room and getting on your phone or watching reality TV or cleaning the house because you're like, well, this is my time to clean. Don't do that. Don't do that. Have fun with him and show him that you care and that you want to participate in this thing because, again, it's going to be on the TV at least probably one day out of the week. So enjoy. And if this helps you, go ahead and click on another link. So I'll tell you even more good tips and tricks. And I'll see you on the next one.